David Willits, our chair, wrote a book 5-6 years ago called The Pinch, focusing on exactly this question about what was happening with the generational divide. If anything, since then, the situation's got worse in two big ways. One, house prices have risen significantly over the last few years, driven partly by very low interest rates, but also by the fact that we just haven't been building enough homes, especially affordable homes where we need them. And secondly, young people have borne the brunt of the financial crisis impact on pay. They've seen their pay fall by more than 10% in the years following the financial crash.
All these things come together to affect, especially the youth, in a more sort of negative way in the society.
So this is just showing you some recent polling. I think this is Ipsos Mori, but it's just showing you that from youngest people at the top, millennials, down to oldest. Silent generation are so-called because they were born before the Second World War. It's not clear to me why they couldn't talk, but apparently not. Anyway, 80% of the silent generation thought that their quality of life would be better than their parents, the vast majority. The baby boomers, still pretty much, 70% thought they'd have a better standard of life than their parents. We've then seen big falls for Generation X. These are the people that came of age in the 80s and 90s, and millennials are people born between, as I'll come back to in a second, 1980 and 2000, where now only a third of the millennials think they will have a better life than their parents.
We have seen some improvements in economic growth, but when we look at the causes of that economic growth, it is still driven by debt and then house prices staying low, and a big subsidy, I would say, from the central bank. So the Bank of England keeping interest rates low, especially after the referendum in August 2016. But then also the reduction on unemployment, when we look at what kind of employment that little growth generates, it tends to be part-time, precarious, and low wage.
One of the consistent themes of Britain since the Second World War is that each generation, as they've been born and come through and gone into work, has done better than the last, with higher pay, higher incomes, and in most cases more chance of owning a home. The worry today is that is not what is happening for young people. We used to build 350,000 houses at peak in the 1960s. We don't probably want to build that many, but we've definitely now building below 150,000. Last year we built less affordable housing in Britain than at any stage since records began. That is a choice. There's no country on earth, you haven't got to be North Korea, no country on earth that wants to build houses can't do it. The state controls land use, it controls borrowing, and it controls regulations for house building. Anyone that wants to do it can do it in the end. Some of this is pretty simple. Look, if we want people to go on and earn a decent salary early in their careers, we've got to give them a decent route up into school, into college and into jobs, even if they don't go to university. And at the moment we just don't do that. And if we want to have enough homes for people to live in, then we've got to build them, and we don't do that. In the world of Brexit, Trump and others, this is a really bad time for anybody to be adopting complacency and fatalism, because if they are, we now know where we end up. Thank you very much.